Welcome back to the Daily Boyos. I'm Zeke.
And I'm Brandon.
And in today's video, we will be discussing the future of the MCU and two possible ways it could be rebooted.
Before we begin, help us out by liking the video and subscribing to our channel if you haven't already. Thank you very much for those who have supported the Daily Boyos YouTube channel and Instagram page. Although some people are feeling pretty uninterested, fed up, and overall burnt out with the MCU, specifically with Phase 4, Marvel movies and shows aren't going to completely disappear within the foreseeable future, because the entire Marvel brand still has a massive global following that makes it a highly profitable business, whether it's movies, comics, and toys.
However, the future of the MCU itself seems more uncertain than ever now, given the general dissatisfaction with Phase 4 and the almost overwhelming amount of information viewers need to know in order to understand the current narrative of the MCU, which makes it pretty difficult for both longtime fans and new ones to become invested in the franchise.
This has led to a growing number of fans to feel as though the MCU should either have some sort of reboot to restart its entire slate or come to a definitive end.
Reboots have occurred frequently throughout film history, and there is no one way to reboot a single movie or entire franchise. Despite this, most reboots can be at least partially described as either a hard reboot or a soft reboot. A hard reboot is essentially a complete restart of a film or franchise based on a certain character or property. A classic example of a hard reboot would be the numerous Batman reboots that have been made throughout the years.
On the other hand, a soft reboot somehow continues the narrative of an established film or franchise in a new way. For example, in No Way Home, as Peter Parker at the end completely gets his identity wiped, essentially opening a new slate for his future without having to know his previous history or baggage from the past. Another example would be Star Trek, as it's a completely new story, but there's still essential pieces from the original TV show that hold a ground for that entire universe, but you really don't need to know as new stories are being established.
When thinking about how to reboot the whole MCU, it seems too premature to do a hard reboot of it at this point, because there are so many exciting stories and characters currently being set up that ending the MCU in the near future and starting a new one would be rather abrupt and disappointing to the committed fanbase.
Doing a soft reboot of the MCU may be a much more viable option than we believe, and there are two main ways that Marvel could go about doing this.
The first way Marvel could reboot the MCU is through what may very well be its most seminal event yet, Avengers Secret Wars.
This MCU film takes its name from the 1984 and 2015 Secret War comics, but the film seems more likely to be based off the 2015 comic, as the film will be a major multiversal event, like the comic was. The 2015 Secret Wars comics was an effective soft reboot for the Marvel comics, merged the main Marvel universe with the Ultimate Marvel universe while retaining most of its history and narrative direction, this being the incursion. It's likely that the multiverse will be destroyed and recreated as Battleworld in Avengers Secret Wars, just as it happened in 2015 Secret Wars through Doctor Doom. In the comics, Doctor Doom erases the memories of the heroes stranded on Battleworld, which is a planet formed from the collision of different multiverses. This presents a fresh start for beloved characters and offers an opportunity to explore alternate versions of these heroes. It allows Marvel to focus on newer characters and their development while relieving newer audiences of the need to watch extensive backlog of MCU films. By embracing this reboot, Marvel can forge a new chapter for the MCU, unencumbered by past continuity and opening the door to exciting storytelling possibilities. Marvel's Secret Wars reboot provides a gateway to breathe new life into the MCU. Not necessarily saying that it's the answer for it right now, but it's definitely going to reamp it in a different light.
Although Avengers Secret Wars should draw heavily on 2015 Secret Wars story, the film needs to go beyond what this comic did, and should look to DC's Crisis on Infinite Earths comic for even more inspiration on how to do a radical soft reboot. Crisis on Infinite Earths was DC's solution to their many discrepancies in continuity, as it used the consolidation of the DC multiverse to change the history of its characters and stories for the better, permitting DC to essentially start over, but with an in-universe reason. Avengers Secret Wars has the potential to alter the MCU's reality in a similar way to how Crisis on Infinite Earths changed DC's reality in a drastic but strategic way. The survivors of the multiverse's destruction will then have to restore reality, and the MCU has the perfect character to do this, the Scarlet Witch. Wanda Maximoff has certainly become one of the most powerful beings in the MCU, and as Wong stated in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, she can rewrite reality if she chooses. Avengers Secret Wars could therefore have the Scarlet Witch recreate reality. However, Wanda does not have to restore reality exactly as it was before its destruction, something Marvel should take full advantage of in order to give the MCU less narrative baggage and more free range going forward. Marvel should have Wanda effectively write out some characters and events, such as Kang, the TVA, and the multiverse's destruction, by either making everyone in the MCU forget the existence of those characters and events, similar to how everyone forgets who Peter Parker is at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, or make it so that those characters and events never existed. Marvel could even have Wanda separate some characters from the main MCU reality and place them into different universes. An example of this would be if the Scarlet Witch created a new and distinct reality where she could live a peaceful life with Vision and their children, very similar to how Crisis on Infinite Earths created a paradise reality for the Golden Age Superman and Lois Lane to live in. Ultimately, the Scarlet Witch, reimagining the MCU's reality, could allow the franchise to retain its most important characters and plot points, but simplify things to a degree that both new and old audiences will not need to know so much information to understand and get invested into future films and shows.
So those are some of the few possible ways that Marvel could be rebooted and also brought life back into the franchise, as of course right now Marvel is lacking heavily compared to other franchises, especially DC coming in the hot with James Gunn. Marvel really needs to be stepping it up.
So that'll conclude today's video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe to our channel and leave a comment down below about how you think, or if you think, the MCU should be rebooted.
And also follow us on our Instagram page as we post daily content from Star Wars, Marvel, and other news and updates from materials that we like. So go ahead and follow us down there. I'll put a link down below in the description. And we'll catch you next time.
Bye. Have a good time.